Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Order of Battle, Red Star. This is a brand new DLC, or expansion, which has just come out for Order of Battle World War II, which allows you for the first time to play through a grand campaign as the Soviet Union. Order of Battle has had series which look at the Pacific campaign from the American perspective, the Japanese perspective. It's even had campaigns that look at the Burma Road theater, at the Chinese theater, and a multiple campaign setup looking at the war from the German perspective, from the earlier war years to the mid-war years to the conclusion of the war. But for the first time ever, you are now able to play through a campaign as the Soviet Union. This is the first of what I would imagine will be multiple DLC packs looking at the Soviet perspective, because this runs up to about the Battle of Moscow period. Now, with this type of approach, and because it only covers a couple of years, you actually get to see some conflicts that we don't often see in these types of games. And we started in the first episode with a less well-known battle, which was against the Japanese as the Soviet Union, and now we're going to be playing a pretty well-known battle, but not one that you see in a lot of these types of games, and that is the Battle of Khalkin Gol River, with a Japanese attack. Now, the Japanese Morning Star or Morning Sun or whatever, the expansion for the Japanese in China does allow you to play, I think, this battle from the Japanese perspective, but now the campaign has actually a Soviet point of view. So, Khalkin Gol River, July 1939. In a new Soviet-Japanese border conflict, the Red Army first has to defeat a major attack by Imperial Japanese Army forces. This is the second battle in the Russian campaign, the Red Star campaign, and let's take a look at this and see how this goes. One thing I will say, guys, I do still intend to look at the newest Ultimate Admiral game, or the new Ultimate game, that is Ultimate Admiral Age of Sail. Frankly, I am out of town this weekend that you're watching right now. Actually, I'm probably back by now, but recording it anyway and airing it because I'm out of town for a wedding this weekend, and I wanted to do a live stream of Ultimate Admiral, so we will be looking at Ultimate Admiral some point this coming week. It's just a matter of me wanting to be home and being able to stream it live rather than recording it on demand, and then I'll post it on the channel. Okay, so, mission briefing awaits. Japan still has learned nothing from our border clashes last year. Now the Imperial Japanese Army is conducting a massive military operation near the Khalkin Gol River, at the border between our ally Mongolia and the Japanese-occupied Manchuria. This conflict has been brewing for a while, but now the Japanese are conducting a massive offensive against our positions. Our first priority is to fend off any attack and buy time to bring in reinforcements for a determined counterattack strike in a few weeks. The Imperial Japanese Army forces are attacking two main thrusts. The northern part of our defensive is threatened by a strong infantry attack supported by artillery. Make sure to keep the enemy at bay and secure the river crossing. A second enemy attack is aiming to wipe out our center positions at the eastern banks of the river. Those forces are not yet under your direct command, but surely need help to hold their ground. Be prepared for heavy attacks here, supported by significant armored forces. The Japanese also brought in substantial air and artillery support. Although the Khalkin Gol River is a small river, holding the river crossing will contain the enemy now and assist our planned offensive later. So this is a 16-turn battle, and we can see here our objective is to hold or retake 4 primary objectives. We currently hold 2, or hold or retake 2 secondary objectives. Additionally, we want to make sure we don't destroy key bridges and cause 50 damage by tanks. Contested skies. Command is urging you to deploy further fighter units to counter significant enemy air activity expected in the weeks ahead. Okay, so it looks like we need to hold this objective, or this is a bridge. Let's see here. Some of our units are not in our command, but they are Soviet units. So we command some of these guys, but we don't command all of them. I'm trying to see. So this is an objective. This is an objective. That's 2 objectives. Here's an objective in Japanese hands. And that's the current situation. Okay. So I think we'll deploy some infantry here. We're going to move them forward toward the bridge. We'll deploy some infantry here, where maybe we can launch a counterattack. We'll have some armored units here in the north. And then I think we'll also have some artillery here positioned between the lines so that we can support either northern bridge or southern bridge. The objective down here, we'll have to swing these troops north in order to hold it. And we also probably want to retake this bridge too. Additionally, actually, I deployed some units that aren't full strength, didn't I? Let's see. Elite reinforcements, get them up to level 10. Keep their experience. Same for these guys. I can't reinforce the machine gun bunker. Alright, so I reinforced the troops that I can. Additionally, we do have some air units that we can deploy. We have some already on the map. But let's go ahead and purchase some new units too. That'll add, I'm assuming, to our core. The Polinkov I-16, I think, is probably our best fighter. The other guys are biplanes. So purchase and deploy him. And then can we purchase and deploy a tactical bomber? So we'll deploy him here. And we still have 391 points, so maybe we'll purchase another tank unit. Make it a BT-7. Actually, the T-28 is our heavy tank. So we'll purchase and deploy that here in the south, maybe? And then we've still got a fair amount of army ability still. Actually, deploy 2 of these in the south. And then we'll go ahead and purchase and deploy an infantry unit. Soviet heavy infantry, purchase and deploy. Alright, so that's going to do it for our forces here. So we'll go ahead and end the turn. So the units that are in orange are outside of our command. And we see the Japanese are already launching a major artillery strike against troops that we do not control. I'm assuming, given the game given the way the game works and the scenario design works, we're going to get overrun where those orange AI units are, and it's going to be our job to counterattack the Japanese. That would be my assumption. It's probably somewhat scripted there. You can see here that unit defending the bridge is already getting hit from multiple sides with Japanese infantry. They also got hit by, a fair amount of Japanese artillery. You can also see they're trying to defend their position, but they're not doing a whole lot. Japanese infantry crossing here, attacking our machine gun posts rather than our tanks. But we should be able to use our armor here in the north against them. We've got some dug-in infantry here against Japanese heavy infantry crossing the Khalkin Gol River. And it looks like actually about an even fight there. Some minefields. I think, are those Japanese minefields or our minefields? They look like they're in the Japanese lines. Okay, so that's the end of the first turn of enemy action. Alright, let's do this. Let's start in the south, actually. We're going to drive on this bridge here. Let's see what we can recon. Alright, so there's an enemy unit here. These are heavy tanks. Alright, so we're going to deploy, we'll pull the recon car back. We're going to deploy our armor south. We're going to use one unit to cross the river here to support the conscripts to the south. We'll move our artillery up to hopefully be in range. Alright, so we're going to try and take this bridge, and once we take this bridge, then we can swing in behind the Japanese and maybe take their airfield. We'll move this tank across the river because it is amphibious, it can move across the river to support the conscripts. And then in the north, I think we're going to focus our effort here. Why would we lose? Okay. So we're going to focus our effort here against the Japanese in the north where we can. Let's use some tactical bombers against the Japanese. I'm kind of dividing my efforts here. Some fighter escorts here too. They'll strafe while they can. We've also got some anti-aircraft guns which will move forward with our forces. Alright, so we drove them back. And maybe we can finish them off next turn. These guys. Alright, so we'll attack here, here, here. Alright, so we drove those troops back. So we easily drove 2 Japanese units back. Nearly destroyed them both, but not quite. In the center to go after that other bridge. And then, or in the north. So the north and the south we made progress. In the center, I think we need to try and focus on reinforcing the key bridges. Can't hit anything with bombers quite yet. Making sure to keep fighters around for escort. And I think that's going to about do it for this turn. Can't deploy any more units, so we'll go ahead and end the turn. So we're through the first turn. You can see the Japanese are going to continue attacking this bridge. But it does look, or actually no, this is the AI. So our AI is launching artillery strikes against the Japanese troops here. We're launching a cavalry attack. About even casualties with the cavalry attack. The artillery did have a slight advantage. Japanese artillery now hammering the bridges and the troops near the bridges that we're going to need to see if we can respond to. I'm curious. This was an absolutely decisive... The Battle of Khalkin Gol. I don't know if it's Khalkin Gol River or just the Battle of Khalkin Gol. Was a decisive Soviet victory over the Japanese. I'm curious to see if the game will actually... reflect that and it'll feel like that, or if it'll end up being a bit more of a slog match. I think my main complaint against the Order of Battle series is just it feels like the original games were a little bit more free-flowing, the original DLC, but since then it feels like things have become a little bit more just kind of grind every battle out. And while that's certainly true for some battles, especially like Eastern Front battle type deals, not always true, and also a lot of Pacific Island campaigns, not true of all the campaigns that they do reflect in the game. So we'll see how this plays out. Okay. Japanese armor! Alert! Alert! Japanese light tanks with machine guns. Okay, that guy's probably dead. They did take this bridge, but it's not an objective bridge, at least. Yep, he's dead. He dead. The orange circles are a little bit confusing from a gameplay perspective because usually orange circles represent, like, medium supply. Oh, Japanese aircraft. Those are tactical bombers, I think. Yep. Japanese fighters. Ooh. Are those Chinese cavalry? Oh, Japanese heavy infantry versus our cavalry. Good luck, guys. Pull back across the river for sure. Oh, those are big tanks. Man, this is a long-ass turn. So when I was asking if things would turn into a slog, I think it's pretty clear they're going to turn into a slog, just by the way the game's representing some of this. The Japanese didn't have a ton of tanks at Khalkin Gol. That was part of the thing. That was part of the reason that they were... whatever. Okay, so enemy fighters... Do we get it? We got him! We shot down the Japanese fighters. Alright. Let's use some arty against these guys. Alright, so we didn't quite destroy them, but we did shoot down their, Alright, so we destroyed that enemy unit. Whole bunch of enemy armor up here, by the way. Move these guys across the way, bomb the hell out of the enemy. Okay. Alright, so we took this bridge from the Japanese. Shot down a Japanese aircraft, destroyed a Japanese infantry unit. So that's a good result in the north. Not a lot else I can do at the moment there. In the south, there's a Japanese armored column. That is a threat. We're going to have to figure out how we want to deal with. I'm moving some of my own troops in here to reinforce to prevent that bridge from falling. These guys are all outside of my control. Alright, so bombard there. Alright, so our heavy tanks here are going to move there. Alright, so we just took the bridge. In all seriousness, now I kind of want to move this tank back north. The question is, how many troops do they have to actually, like, counterattack? Or do we want to try and move north and into their rear here with our heavy armor? The T-28s seem to be pretty massively amazing vehicles. They just did a 5-0 attack against these Japanese troops. So that worked pretty damn well. This guy can move down here to that bridge. Fall back here. And reinforce. Okay. Alright, so we're going to hit these guys with arty to try and slow them down. Move these infantry in here and attack these armored again to try and slow them down. Cross the river with these guys. And then I think that's about it. This guy hasn't attacked yet, has he? Alright, so nearly destroyed him there, but not quite. And that'll do it for the turn. So let's see what happens in our turn number 3. We've taken one of the additional bridges. And now it's a matter of... But the thing is, we're probably going to have to play out the full 16 turns because of the way the game works. But we'll see what the AI does, the Soviet AI. Giving a little bit of damage to that Japanese tank in the lead. 30% casualties. Actually, the AI is counterattacking some of these Japanese units pretty strongly. That heavy Japanese infantry units lost a lot. The Soviet cavalry here seems to be still playing a decent role. Flamethrowers against horse? Oh my goodness, it's barbecue time. Oh boy. So much artillery. We're gonna shoot you down, Japanese dive bomber. We're gonna shoot you down. Give me a little bit of time to get my fighters back over you. You're a goner, buddy. Japanese armor sweeping south to try and retake the bridge we just took. Our tanks fighting in the middle of a river probably are at a bit of a disadvantage here. Taking pretty heavy casualties. Not really doing much against the Japanese either. Meanwhile, their heavy attack in the center continues. We do have some reinforcements that are showing up now, but Probably not enough to stem the tide in the center. Still, there's a little bit of a buffer between us and the actual bridge that we need to hold. They're going to attack the artillery there, yep. Yes, they are. More armor? Really? How many goddamn tanks do they have? Oh, nice. 3 casualties there. Ooh. Well, that anti-tank gun did decent for a minute. I need to get my T28s up there against these guys. I played with the T28 a little bit when I used to play World of Tanks a bit on PlayStation 4. Which is kind of more of an entry-level heavy tank. This little progress bar at the bottom is so misleading. It is never even remotely close to like how close you are to the end of the turn execution in this game. Which just gets a little bit tiring when it's like, oh, it's almost done, when you have no real idea how much longer there is to go. So many units. Barbecued horses, flamethrowers on horses. More Japanese aircraft. Strafing some of our arty trucks. Or no, they're infantry trucks, aren't they? Alright, so we've inflicted 18 of 50 damage by our tanks. All 4 objectives are held. Secondary objectives, I'm not sure. Alright, so we finished off the 1 unit there in the south. Our armor's moving forward. It's getting behind him. We'll cut him off. Alright. So now our T-26s will go after these Japanese tanks pretty effectively, too. Use our artillery against these guys to slow them down. Where are their fighters, or where are their bombers? Over here? Let's go land him and get him fixed up. Stay on the defensive. Okay, so everybody up there is okay. So we've cut off this Type 95 tank. If we can keep it cut off, we can probably destroy it next turn. We've also badly damaged the Type 89. Got 1 anti-aircraft gun left. I don't even know which unit. This is our recon vehicle, which it's still saying has some points. I don't see it. Alright, so that's going to do it for turn number 3. We'll move forward to turn number 4, and we'll see what happens. I probably won't play through this whole battle in this turn. This is just to give a flavor of what the second scenario looks like. You can see this armored unit is now cut off with no supply, so that's good. Okay, some good anti-tank versus tank action down there. Very good. So the AI units are actually given a reasonably good account of themselves. The interesting thing is holy crap. Japanese infantry just got themselves killed. They were attacking a unit that was not going to help them get their pocketed unit out of being surrounded, so another Japanese unit just got killed by our AI. By our AI allies. Huzzah to that, my boys. Huzzah. Ah, shit. I knew I shouldn't have sent this. I had switched over to motorized vehicles, which made them basically sitting ducks. They're gonna. The horses run away. Oh, they survived at least. Unless they get hit by artillery or something. More infantry against these guys. I guess the one positive is it's bringing his infantry out into the open where those T-828s can just hammer them. Pulling them away from their defensive river position. Okay. Maybe we want to send some planes forward to bomb that airfield. I'm guessing some of his units that took some damage are going to be there. Ooh, we're going to get some cavalry versus tanks next turn. Yeehaw! Their counterattack is closing in on the bridge there, but that's okay. I've got those two T-28s. They're basically my early war Tigers. For the Soviet Union, anyway. Alright, they're doing some reinforcement. Oh, shit. No damage inflicted by that tank? What the fuck? I need some infantry in that northern area. I don't have any infantry to take out that anti-tank gun. Goddamn Japanese engineers. All they want to do is barbecue my men. It's not barbecue season. No, they drove him back. He's gonna get unsurrounded. Probably. They drove them back too. What are you doing, AI? You're running the wrong direction. I guess maybe they destroy that tank with no supply or fuel, but can they still move one more? Oh, they did. They're trying to pocket us down here in the south. Actually, we might be able to cut both of these units off next turn, though, just by moving one hex. And then we'll have 2 Japanese armored units surrounded. Assuming they don't just break right back out. The AI is breaking. God damn it. Always be attacking. That is the lesson of this game. Or at least of the AI forces anyway. Forget always be closing, it's always be attacking. That actually might not be an anti-tank gun, that might be an artillery piece. Booyah, our armored cars are better than yours. Alright, so reinforcements. Our comrades at the eastern bank of the river are taking serious casualties. Fortunately, reinforcements are coming now. Just one? That's all? That's all we get? Alright. Well, it's better than nothing. Okay. Alright. so let's do this. We'll attack that tank. And we'll attack him here. Alright, so we successfully surrounded this guy, our heavy tanks. Any Japanese aircraft I can go after? I think they all pulled back, mostly. So we'll go ahead and strafe him, we'll bomb him, we'll use tactical air against him. Alright, so we destroyed one tank there, we have another surrounded. Alright. Good old armor attack there against the enemy. Okay, we'll do some damage there. Meanwhile, the artillery. Alright. One-to-one attack there. Alright, so we'll attack this enemy cavalry. They retreated the wrong... You guys retreated the wrong way. I'm sorry, Mongolian cavalry, but you retreated the wrong way. Alright, so we held the bridge for now. We've also got troops converging on these guys to the north. This armor will be through the river next turn. And so the southern base there, I think, is pretty safe. I think that might actually be pretty close to our turn, too. We've got some recon units here in the south. I forgot that recon units can't take ground. Okay, reinforced there. Alright, tactical bombers versus enemy tanks. Advantage us. Not gonna attack there. Oh, is that a second unit of infantry we got as reinforcements then? Maybe it was actually more than one then. Yep, that's it. So we still haven't lost a unit. We've lost some casualties, but we haven't actually lost any units. Yeah, so I mean, I think this thing's going reasonably well. We've inflicted some serious casualties. I think we're on our way to a victory. We hold all 4 objectives. The Japanese are getting a lot of reinforcements to deal with us. But I think in the south, with these T-28s, the situation's going to be remedied. Then we can swing north and relieve these troops up here. And once that happens, I think we're relatively safe. The main question is the central area where they seem to be pushing a lot of troops. But destroying one armored unit, cutting another off, badly damaging it, and probably destroying it next turn as well, I think will go a long way to remedying the situation and winning us a victory. The large amount of artillery that we have also helps. But yeah, this is Red Star, a new DLC for Order of Battle World War II, which puts you in the shoes of the Soviet Union during the Second World War in a turn-based Panzer General-like system. With that being said, guys, I am going to go ahead and end this episode. Let me know if you want to see the conclusion of this. But this game just came out on Steam a couple days ago. It's an add-on to Order of Battle World War II, which the base Order of Battle World War II is actually free. So you can just pick this up all by itself, and it basically acts like a standalone. With that being said, I am going to go ahead and sign off. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts below. And remember, Ultimate Admiral coming this week. Probably stream first and channel second. But until then, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm out.